Here we go.
Do it.
Okay, cool.
Here we go.
Welcome back to Common Talkin', where we unravel the mysteries, embrace the peculiar, and find humor in the unconventional world of funerals and death. I'm Holly. Oh, I'm here with
Hi,
Frank.
Hi, Holly. How are you?
Hi. Good. How are you?
Are we behind? Are we? We're on a 3-second delay, Holly.
Are we really?
Yes, I think we are. No, I'm kidding.
Okay. That sounded more like 4 seconds to me.
Okay, well, darn it. I was scanning in my mind. 1001, 1000. What comes after 2? Yeah. So
how
anyway,
was your week?
It was good. It's been pretty busy. I'm not one that really likes. I don't know. In my mind, when you go through your schedule and think, okay, good, I can get home early this day and have this done and do this, and it just doesn't work out, and so you become a little. I don't know if any other people are like this or not, but you get a little disappointed that it doesn't quite happen.
You would be hard pressed to find anyone that's not like that.
Well, anyway, that's been my. Go ahead.
That's been your week?
4 times now.
4 times
this past week. Yeah, I planned on something and something else has happened. So
something else at work that draws you away.
Mm-hmm.
That's so frustrating.
It is.
You have like this to-do list or things you want to do, and it just keeps getting pushed back and pushed back.
Yeah, especially around the house. You have things that you have to do and want to do, and
right,
it's just not coming together.
It will.
Yeah, it will.
It will. I'm sorry it didn't this week, though.
Yeah. How about your week?
I had a good week. I had a lot of downtime, I feel like.
Mm-hmm.
And so opposite of you, Kate and I went on a date to the Nickel Arcade.
Wow. Is it true to its name?
Fun. It actually is.
Everything a nickel?
The fancy games are like 2 to 3 nickels.
Oh,
but
okay.
I mean, everything is very cheap. I mean, we went in with $12 between the two of us, and we spent an hour and a half there.
Wow.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
Cool. What was your favorite arcade as you left?
So my favorite game, I went in saying, I want to play the clown game. And if you've seen it, you have these balls that you're throwing at these 3 rows of clowns. There's 2 massive clowns at the top, and then 4 medium clowns in the middle, and then 8 little clowns on the bottom row. And I love pelting those clowns.
Is the goal to knock them over?
Yes, to knock them over, and then you get points for how many you knock over.
Okay.
It was broken. It was the only one that was broken in the whole place. I was so sad. We walked around the entire place at first to find it, only to find that it was not in operation. So that was a lot of
sadness on your side.
Sadness on my side.
It just lets you know how many people hate clowns, that they are pelting them so often that they broke the game.
They broke the game.
Just so you know. Yeah. If you want my perspective on things, there it is.
Yeah, that's what it is. But there was this one that was, it's kind of like the beer pong party game where you're just trying to get the ping pong in a cup from far away. And that one was actually really fun. We were not good at that. And
we wasted $10 on that game.
We wasted $10.
Of our $12.
Uh-huh. Oh, I'll tell you what they did have, though. They had Guitar Hero.
Oh, did you win?
Oh, yeah, I won. I set the high record.
Oh, yeah. Now you got to go back and beat your own score.
I know. But Caden was kind of upset because that one cost like 10 nickels to do the song that I wanted to do.
Oh.
But it was a lot of fun. We got 2 Smarties candies for all of our work and this little alien chew toy thing.
Oh my gosh. Are the cats all over it?
Well, we got it. It's this plushy alien that's green and pink striped. And we got it, and I got it thinking, oh my gosh, this is going to be a perfect gift for Maybe, because Maybe has only inherited Nelson's toys. She hasn't ever had a toy of her own.
Mm-hmm.
And being the youngest child, I can sympathize with her.
Oh,
So,
yeah, bring that up, Holly. Wow.
right. Okay.
Mm.
No, but I thought that it would be a nice little surprise. And so we got home, the cats were in the front room. I was like, maybe, look what we got for you. I threw it to Maybe, and Nelson took that personally. And he sprinted after the toy, grabbed it in his mouth, and then ran into the kitchen and started destroying it. And Maybe was like, couldn't care less.
I'll show
So,
you.
yeah. So he showed us. It's now Nelson's toy. He really likes it. He spent, I think, a good hour or two just playing with this toy. And Maybe sniffed it. That's all. She really didn't want it though, so it's fine.
Wow. So good. It's good that
Whatever.
Nelson was able to tear into it and
Yeah.
do whatever he needed to do. Make it his own.
Make it his own, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But other than that, we had our first really ripe tomatoes.
Nice.
That we
Big
got
or small?
I'd say medium size. We've got a
Okay.
couple that are really big that are still
Mhm.
pretty green though.
Yeah.
And some little cherries that are fine. So they started out purple. This is a new variety that we'd never seen.
Mm-hmm.
They went to purple to black to green, and now they're turning red. It's really weird, but we found one red one, and it's so good.
Wow.
So it was worth it.
If you left them on the vine long enough, would they turn back to purple?
Oh my gosh.
That means they're dying, Holly.
Oh,
Don't
shoot.
pick them. Yeah. Let them go through the advanced
They're
stage of purple
raisins
only
now.
once. Raisins.
We got a raisin bush.
Those are grapes.
Yeah. So
Well, that would be really amazing if they
that
turned
would
into
be
raisins.
incredible.
Wow.
Yeah. So that was my week.
Oh. Sounds kind of fun.
Kind of fun, yeah.
Yep. And you're still waiting on the job front. See what happens there.
Yep. Still going
that's
to the
good.
job front.
Hopefully we'll hear something
for the
today
best.
or this week.
This week. Yep, for sure. And I'll keep you updated as we do. But I say it's a great time, among other times, to turn the time over and spend our time being frank.
Okay, so today's story I have in mind is something that deals with human nature. So it's not really scary. It's not really a happening. It's something that you observe that was taking place and has taken place, and is kind of sad in the long run. So let me ask you this, Holly. At the beginning of the story, I want you to define for me two things. What is premeditated, and what is the difference? What is the opposite of premeditated?
Premeditated, as a huge fan of true crime, I'm an expert on this subject.
Okay, all right, go.
So when, like, for example, in murder cases, it's premeditated if obviously in the car you find what they call like a murder kit, where you have everything to clean up the scene, you have bleach, you have everything you're going to need to cover your tracks. There's clear thought and a plan that went into this.
Okay.
Right. I would say the opposite of premeditation would be, I don't know, just an accident.
Okay. Or heat of the moment.
Heat of the moment. Yeah. Just unplanned.
Okay. So if I was to describe to you a slap in the face after a verbal altercation, is that premeditated, or is that?
I would say in most cases that's not premeditated. That's
Okay,
just
good.
heat of the moment. Your emotions got the better of you, and you did something you're probably going to regret later.
Thank you. What about road rage?
Road rage. I'm not saying she's a crazy driver or anything like that, but my first thought was to Mom.
She's going to listen to this, Holly. Come on.
I know.
Mm.
We might have to cut it out. But
Yeah.
road rage, it's kind of, I would say it's It's along the lines of unplanned,
Hmm.
but I feel like it's unplanned plus.
Okay, so
Where
there's a gray line.
yeah, there's definitely a gray line where you're
Okay.
in your car by yourself. You can think to yourself and say, "Okay, I'm just going to cool off from this. This is fine.
Yeah.
I'm just going to keep on with my day."
What about catching something on fire?
Well, you have arsonists, you have pyros, and you have children that like to play with fire
Yep.
and catch things on fire.
If you caught a house on fire, was that premeditated?
Oh no,
Yes or no?
no. I would say no.
Okay.
What you think? Yes.
If you purposely burn down a home, I think so. I think
Well,
that's
if it's on
premeditated.
purpose, but if I'm sleeping in bed and my house is on fire, obviously I did not plan that.
Okay. Well, see, there's different circumstances.
Yeah.
So I want to go into the story that I want to tell today, and then we'll go back to this little discussion at the end. So in walks not a young man, middle-aged man, and he's there to make arrangements for his wife. And as we're discussing and progressing through the conversation, he says, "My wife and I attended a funeral. We're coming to you because of the way we saw a viewing held through your facility, I don't know, a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, whatever the case might be." I said, "Oh, really? Tell me." And it was not the favorite. I remembered it immediately. And the reason that they liked it was because they had like a reception line. And so you can see a reception line at weddings, right?
Mm-hmm.
Do you ever see one at a funeral?
I think I've seen maybe one.
Okay, it doesn't happen too often, but they do happen, and they are out there.
Mm-hmm.
So this is what he was requesting. He wanted to have a reception line for individuals that came into the facility to go ahead and greet the family, then pay their respects to the deceased, and then walk out. They didn't want to have anyone lingering and mulling around. Just come in, greet, and leave.
Yeah.
So that was the idea behind this type of a viewing. And so, it's fine. I went on ahead and made the arrangements, went on ahead and scheduled that type of a service. And he said to me, kind of an odd thing off the cuff, and not many people will ever ask this question. He goes, "What kind of security do you have?" And I said, "You mean like video security? I mean, we have video cameras." He says, "No, do you have anyone physically present for security?" I said, "No." I said, "If you wanted to have someone, we could, but we'd have to hire them and you'd pay for them." So
yeah.
Anyway, he said, "I'll get back to you." So anyway, a couple of weeks went by, and we were still at weeks, and I mean weeks, because this gentleman was not in a hurry to have a viewing for his wife. And I think it was just an imprint that he had in his own mind as far as, as soon as we have the service, it's over. If she's gone, it's done.
What do I do now?
Yeah. So we had this conversation with regards to what he wanted to do, and he's going to have just a private service, graveside service, the following day after the viewing. So whoever wanted to come pay their respects to her could come the day of that viewing, spend what time they needed, even though he wanted it to be just a free flow of people to go through, could pay their last respects and then go home, and he would have just he and his family present at the graveside the following day to witness the burial, placement of the grave, placement of the casket.
Yeah.
So that's all fine. Everything's fine and dandy, and everything's going well. Well, he calls me again, and he said, "Hey, Frank, how much does security cost?" So now we're probably 2 weeks into after the date of her passing, and I said, "Well, security can range anywhere." And at the time, for 2 security guards, it would range anywhere from $800 to $1,500. If you wanted just one, then you could go from anywhere from $200 to $600, depending upon the company that we ended up hiring.
Okay.
So I gave him those figures, and he gave me the date finally that we could have the viewing. And he said, "I'll get back with you on the security." So the date rolled around, no word from him on security at all, none. And so we went on ahead and we set everything up. And the room that he chose was kind of a specific room because he liked the idea of being able to. It was in a glass room. And when I say glass room, there's glass partitions from the floor to the ceiling on all sides with the sliding glass door. that allows you to come in and out of the room.
Oh, okay.
And so every wall, and there's curtains on the walls, but he specifically asked to have every curtain open. He just wanted it all open.
Okay.
And, okay, that's weird, but that creates a problem if there's a viewing next to you. Do you see what I mean? And the facility that we were using at the particular time had 6 viewing rooms, and they were all kind of set up the same way, but we got around that just by saying, I'm sorry, you can't have the curtains open here. This has to be closed, and so that, you're not
like on this one wall.
Right. You're not bothering or disturbing this particular viewing going on here. So the viewing came. It started, I'm just going to throw out 6 o'clock because that seems to be the most prominent time when most viewings will begin. It was supposed to end at 7:30. No one was coming to this viewing until 6:30. So people started to finally trickle in at 6:30, which was okay. I thought that by the way he was talking, there would be throngs of people that would be coming in to see her. But they had there, of course, there was the husband, his children were in line. And I think one brother to the deceased was in line that was receiving people as they came into the actual viewing. As the viewing progressed, and you've been in wedding ceremonies before where there's a reception line, and so all of your attention is focused on the one individual that you're speaking to, for the most part. Sometimes brides will wander their eyes and see who else is in line to just kind of say, depends on if the friend was yours or if it was the groom's, right? So everyone that was coming in was obviously friends to the deceased, some of the friends of the individual that, like in this case, the spouse. So this man looks at me and he goes, "Hey, did you get the message about security?" I said, "What about security?" And he said, "Did you have any security coming over?" I said, "No, I didn't get that message." And he goes, "We probably forgot to tell you." So I said, "It's all right. We're right here. We'll just go ahead and have it done." And so I sat there. So if you get a picture of what we're looking at and dealing with, there's an main entryway. People are making their ways. There's signs directing people to different rooms for where the viewings would take place. Then this one particular room is completely open, and the sliding door is open. So on the outside of that sliding door is where I position myself, not looking in. It didn't really bother me to know what was going on the inside.
Right.
But I was watching and greeting people as they were coming in because that was the family I served and helped. And so it was important that I be there to actually follow through. So as people were coming in and going, it started to kind of burgeon at around 7:10, 7:15 mark. And I thought, oh, we're going to go past 7:30.
Yeah.
And so we're talking, or I can hear talking and laughter inside the viewing room. And then I hear a shriek. Oh, oh no, that type of a thing. And I look in, and there's a guy holding a gun pointed right at the spouse.
What the heck?
And as I turned around, the gun went off. and the spouse fell to his death in the viewing room.
Are you kidding me?
Nope. And so I went back I hurried and called 911. Of course, trying to file everybody out of the room.
Yeah.
And then I think there was another, I didn't personally call the 911, but someone who was in that with the viewing as well also heard the gunshot. And so they went on ahead and called 911.
Yeah, you don't say.
Yeah. So what was interesting to me is the guy that actually shot him dropped the gun, kneeled, and then put his hands behind his back.
So that was his one goal, was to kill this person.
Yes, that is it. And so I started talking to some of the family members that were at the viewing, and after the shooting had taken place, and they were actually starting to leave, and everybody had dispersed essentially. And the police arrived. They arrested the man, took the weapon, and here this guy is lying now in a pool of his own blood in the arrangement room. And I was talking to the brother to the deceased, and he said, "I knew this was probably going to happen." And I said, "Oh, really?"
Crap?
Well, exactly. I said, "What are you talking about?" He goes, "Well, you don't know the whole story about what's taken place between my sister and her husband, the one that
okay, man, you gotta tell me the whole story."
Yeah, that's exactly right. Now all of a sudden I'm leaning in, my ears, my head's tilt just a little bit.
Go
I'm
on.
thinking, okay, here comes the story. Please tell me. And so apparently what had happened is that his wife had been married for almost 13, 14 years, or his sister had been married for almost 13, 14 years to one gentleman. And then she found the guy that she was with. Yeah. And decided to leave her husband. And so in the process of doing so, the divorce became very ugly. And she ended up marrying the guy that was now shot and dead on the floor. And during the course of, and they had only been married 7 years, but she ended up getting a clot in her lung, which ended up taking her life. Totally unexpected.
Right.
And the only way that she could get, so they went on ahead and had the viewing, and the guy that shot him was her ex-husband. So he was angry. And again, we're going back to human nature. He was angry because they filed an immediate restraining order, and they kept renewing it over and over and over on this guy. And because they had a fear that he would kill her. But now that she had died, they didn't redo the restraining order. So this guy now took out his frustrations on her not only leaving him, but her early passing on the husband. And the only way he thought he could do that was to kill him. That's the story. So the ambulance came after the police department or investigators had actually done their job, the detectives, and checked the scene out, interviewed whoever was still around to see exactly what they saw and what had taken place. So they went on ahead, they went forward and they took the individual off the floor and moved him into an ambulance and then carted him to wherever in this case, I think it was to the medical examiner. It had to be to the medical examiner.
I was going to say, was it just down the hall to the prep room?
Would have been much easier and quicker.
Yeah.
Just as a side note, we did get the case back.
Did you really?
Yes. And so when something like this happens at this particular facility, they immediately call construction or the crews that either have to maintain the facility. Like they were called in thinking that there was broken glass, that one of the partitions had been broken. And so they were going to board it up and make sure that was all taken care of. But this guy had been taken out the first, and his name is, I won't give you his name, but a real nice guy, starts with a C. He looks at me and goes, "Frank, what happened here?" And so I'm kind of giving him just a Reader's Digest version of what took place. And he goes, "What are we going to do with that carpet? Because see, now it's all blood soaked." Right. And I said, "You know what? Not my problem. I don't know." He said, "I will just have to close this room for a little bit, I guess, and see what we can do to fix the carpet." Yeah. So the next morning I said, "I know it's in your hands and it'll be done appropriately and professionally." So the next morning I came, not the carpet. The carpet was still there, but there was a swatch of carpet in on the floor where he had been lying that was perfectly matched and meshed in with the regular carpet. And I thought, how do you do that so fast? Oh my gosh. I mean? This was the next morning. Here it was 7:30, 8 o'clock at night. And it was all cleaned up. And by 9 o'clock the next morning, it was all cleaned up and as though nothing had happened. Nothing had happened. What in the heck? Yeah. So anyway, I tipped my hat to Mr. C and I said, "Great job on the room." He said, "Well, thank you." And so anyway, going back now to the shooter. The shooter is in police custody and he had been taken to a cell. And I guess he was just sitting there. He wears glasses. And so he broke the wing on his glass and then stuck himself in the throat. Killed himself. And so he killed himself as well. So you look at that and you kind of think, well, how in the world the synopsis or the rolling of events that actually took place to bring us from point A to point B. So now I go back. Was that a premeditated measure? Was that something that was done in premeditation? I would say yes. I would too. I would agree. Even his very actions as far as taking his own life, I think he knew exactly what was going to happen. That's why he didn't struggle to go away. He knew he was going to kill himself. That's true. And so he just let him take him to the prison, took whatever inventory or possessions he had in his pockets, except for his glasses. He needed his glasses. So they kept those with him. He broke them and stabbed himself. So that kind of is a sad story in and of itself in the instance, but I keep going back to the fact that, man, if only you had called, would security have been able to stop them? No,
I doubt it.
I don't either, because security would be there to stop physical
Yeah, you would need like
arguments
a
or altercations, not a
you need
gunshot.
a metal detector even to
Yeah.
know if someone had a gun.
Exactly right. And so, yeah, just the simple shrieking, commotion that happened just prior to it, and the guy just standing there, arms to his side, and then was just shot. So it's a, for me, I always think about premeditated, and where's the gray area between premeditation and a true act of, whether it be self-defense, whether it be, I don't know, because there are people that carry weapons with them all the time, right? So do you carry the weapon on the premeditation side of saying, if I'm assaulted, I'm going to kill someone? Or do you just get it to brandish it so you can say, hey, look, I could kill you. I don't want to kill you. You don't want to be dead. So please step away.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That type of a thing. So is that premeditated in the sense that you think maybe you're going to be accosted, but not really, but in the sense that you might be? I don't know. The legal system is very interesting to me. Interesting to me when it comes to what it is we try and strive to do to keep our society safe,
right,
and secure. But this is an instance that actually occurred during a viewing. And think of the brazenness of the individual that have come in during a viewing of a loved one who you loved, obviously, at one point. And of course, it ended in divorce, but you decided to end it totally by the taking of the guy she left to marry and your life as well.
I just wonder about premeditation. Like, obviously that was premeditated, but if he had these same feelings, what was stopping him? Because if it was just a restraining order, if it was just a piece of paper, like, he could walk up, ring the doorbell, kill someone, kill himself.
Yeah.
I mean, it would have been the same result. So
Maybe
what changed in her death that made him finally snap and say, no, this is what I'm doing?
I think with the drop of the restraining order, it wasn't refiled. And I think so when it wasn't refiled, he just figured, oh, well, then they can't get me for violating a restraining order. Oh, I forgot they're going to get me for murder.
Oh, shoot.
I have no idea. I don't know what they were thinking or what he was thinking, but
I know.
Still, and I'll tell you what, from that point on, they always had hired security at that establishment.
Really?
And I think that even if security wasn't allowed to do anything to him, I think the idea of someone seeing someone there with a security vest and jacket on would stop
might have
them.
Changed things.
Yeah, might have stopped them from actually going forth with it. So I don't really know exactly what would have transpired there or under what circumstances. I do know how it did turn out, what happened, but it is interesting to me to actually have witnessed a shooting inside of a funeral home, which is where you would never expect it to happen. And I think what happened to me is this last week when we're talking about the Middle East fighting that's going on, where these young men were killed in the soccer field or while playing soccer, and then their funeral the following day or then maybe 2 days later, and then they attack the funeral.
I know.
I just started thinking to myself, what has to be going through your mind to now be attacking and assaulting mourners? I know. Seriously, and then that's when I started thinking of this story. All of a sudden, I said, maybe it's human nature is becoming more and more dim. Maybe it's not as so cut and dry as we thought it used to be. So, kind of a sad story.
I don't know if it's human nature that's changed or if it's just society that's changed, but it feels like something has changed. Because, I mean, you just look. We've talked about this a couple times. You just look and there's so much just horrible things going on. I mean, you just think about the number of school shootings in the past year.
It's like evil.
These are little children.
Mm-hmm. So the school shootings, that's a great one. Is that a premeditated?
100%. Yeah.
100%. There's no question. There's no gray line there, right? Because know if you're going into a school with a loaded weapon aimed, then you know that's their purpose. Especially if it's like an elementary school.
You know, no one there is going to stop you. Yeah, it's just horrible. Yeah.
Yeah,
So I don't know. I don't know what it is, but
borderline evil,
it is borderline evil. I think people are just losing
or maybe it's
humanity
just
because
pure
you
evil.
see it.
Yeah. Do you think that's any? And I've got another episode that we're going to talk about social media, but I keep going back to social media too, and I'm just thinking, is it desensitizing
Oh,
to
yes.
people? I mean, where you
Yes.
can have virtual reality games of murder, mayhem, chaos, confusion.
Mm-hmm.
Does that mean that when you turn the game off, that in your mind is still clicking as though I wonder if that would really happen? And so you do
I think so.
you decide to put yourself in your own scenario. But this was way before. I'm just talking out loud right now. But there is one episode that I think Coffiners will find very interesting, and maybe we should do that here within the next couple of weeks because it was eye opening for me when
Oh,
I started to hear
yikes.
the story and actually seeing the aftermath of the story. So yeah, it is kind of sad.
Yeah, when I hear that something's eye-opening for you, I know it's bad. Like, oh shoot, this
Well,
is
it's just
not going to
something to
be
think.
great.
Yeah, just something you never really think about. I
I
mean,
know, and sorry, go ahead.
the innocence of video games, right? I
I
mean,
know,
our kids were raised on video games. We tried to tamper down the type of video game they played,
right,
but the message is still the same. If you, I would assume that some people in their minds get so immersed in a video game that they just think, well, I could do that in real life.
right,
I'm a winner in video games, so I'm going to
right.
be the winner
I
here.
matter. I'm
Mm-hmm.
setting high scores.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and
But
I think
if they're
like
not all
Guitar Hero.
broken down, yeah, they're not all broken down like the clown game. So,
If only,
if
if only they
only.
were. No, I was hearing something pretty interesting the other day. Is your brain, if you are remembering like a traumatic event or something that has happened to you in the past, your brain can't distinguish that that's not happening to you right now.
Hmm.
And so you just keep constantly putting yourself in that situation, and you're just constantly in fight or flight almost.
Yeah.
And so I guess I'm wondering if that's the same case where if you're putting yourself into these virtual realities, does your brain know that that's a virtual reality, or is it going to treat it as something that could happen?
Hmm.
That is an active possibility,
You might be.
and
Yeah.
I think I think there's got to be a correlation. 100% there's got to be a correlation because this never happened in the past. You look back 50 years.
Yeah. At least
Were
it's
there
never been
even,
recorded.
I know, were school shootings even a thing?
Mm.
Is unthinkable. But now you get these video games where anyone can do anything they ever thought about doing. And
Yeah.
then it becomes reality for everyone else.
Yeah. Becomes very eye opening one way or the other. Either way, it's
Yeah.
very eye opening and not interesting, but it's sad to actually see and witness in real life
Oh, yeah.
how some events or activities will mask or mirror
Mhm.
a game. And so, yeah.
How real it becomes
It's
when it was once just a game.
Mm-hmm. But his calm demeanor after it was almost like he had just completed what he had set out to do,
Mhm.
and the end he already knew what the end was going to be.
Yeah.
So
He'd already
I did.
decided.
Yep, I've done what I needed to do, and now I'll continue to do what I need to do. I don't know.
I think it's interesting if he shot the guy, why he didn't just kill himself right after. I don't know.
That's a good point. I don't know. Maybe he was afraid he wouldn't be able to.
Yeah.
So maybe it was just easier for him to just think, "Oh, I can stab myself."
Yeah.
That'll
I
be
still have an out.
Mm-hmm. And I still may change my mind.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, it's just horrible. Just
Yeah.
horrible. So
Anyway.
on that happy note.
Yeah. That was just a comment on human nature. And Coffiners, you can take that however you want to take it. But it's almost alarming to me, the more I think of some of these stories, that it's still got to be going on. People still haven't stopped thinking that way.
No.
It's still going on. They're conniving, they're planning, they're doing whatever they need to do to make themselves either better, look better, progress in life, in their stature in life. and generally it's at the detriment of another person.
Right.
So anyway, food for thought.
Food for thought for sure. And I think if we can possibly spin this one, I think that is what is so surprising and unexpected nowadays, when you choose to believe that people are good and believe that people have good intentions and give people credit for having good intentions. Because there was just so much bad that you could just say, oh, people are horrible. I'm going to hole up in my house and never talk to anyone ever again. I'm going to move to the middle of nowhere and remove myself from society. But by removing yourself from society, you can't add to it. So I think it's something to be said about seeing all of the badness that's going on, but then also acknowledging the good and working to weigh the good and add to the good instead of adding to the bad.
Yeah, I agree with you. But when you started saying that, I thought to myself, well, hold it. I've been to the point where I will walk a long way around something rather than walk down an alley. You know,
I know.
Because even though you may look down the alley and not see anyone there, doesn't necessarily mean there's not someone there.
Oh, I completely know. And it's, yeah, it's just horrible. Or it's like the question that's going around right now that they're asking women, would you rather be stuck in the forest with a lone man or a bear? And a lot of people say the bear.
Yeah.
Because you just can't trust people anymore. So yeah, there's take precautions for sure. Hire the security guard. But when you can, see the good in people.
It's important to see the good.
It is very important. You can get lost if you don't.
Yeah, I agree. All right. Look for the good, Coffners. Look for the good.
Look for the good. It's there.
It's there.
And
even if you have to search for it, it's still there.
It's still there. But with that,
and hold on, maybe you're going to be the good that the person needs.
100%. Yes.
Yeah. And I think a lot of times we don't think about that. Maybe I'm the person that they need, that person's looking for to help them through their bad or dark time. So maybe I'm going to be the person for good.
Or maybe I went through this horrible thing so that now I can help other people who are going through horrible things like that. You know, just bad or darkness that happens in your life doesn't have to stay dark.
True. That's true.
You can always make something better out of it.
You're the change.
You are the change. Be the change. You wish to see Gandhi. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Was it really Gandhi? Was it really
I think
Gandhi?
that is Gandhi. Yeah.
Okay. Good.
You wish to see in the world.
All right.
Pretty cool.
It's really cool. So you can quote Gandhi right off the top of your head. Wow.
Pretty incredible. I'm one of these good people that we're talking about.
Oh yeah. Okay, good. I see the book now. Okay.
I see the poster on the wall. Okay.
Yeah. All right.
See the decal.
Okay.
Coffners, thank you for joining us for another week. Follow us on socials on Instagram at Coffin Talkin. Email us questions, stories, anything you have at letsbefrank@coffintalkin.com.
Oh.
And
I had one person reach out to me after X and saying, "Hey, your ghost seems like the elf on the shelf." You know, where you see it once, you look again, and it's moved somewhere else.
It's still there. Where is it?
Oh my word!
Oh my gosh!
That was funny.
Yikes!
Okay. Anyway, go ahead. I'm sorry to interrupt your closing comments.
Last thing, follow us on YouTube at Coffin Talkin' Podcast, and we'll see you next week.
Thanks, Coffiners. Have a great week.